How has Entombed shaped the death metal scene? Well, let's dive into the annals of metal history to find out. Emerging from the cold and snowy streets of Stockholm, Sweden in 1989, Entombed began to carve their niche in the world of extreme music. This band, born from the ashes of their predecessor, Nihilist, initially adopted a sound deeply rooted in Scandinavian death metal. However, the early 90s saw the band's sound evolve, incorporating elements of groove metal, alternative metal, and hard rock. This fusion of styles created a unique sonic experience that was simultaneously heavy, groovy, and melodic, a rare feat in the world of death metal. Entombed's debut album, Left Hand Path, released in 1990, became an instant classic among metal fans. It was this album that introduced the world to their iconic chainsaw guitar sound, a unique tone characterized by a heavily distorted and buzzing sound that was unlike anything else at the time. This sound was a result of the band's innovative use of the Boss heavy metal distortion pedal and a Peavey amplifier. The chainsaw guitar sound didn't just make Entombed stand out in the crowded death metal scene, it also gave birth to a new subgenre, Entombedcore. This subgenre took the chainsaw tone and combined it with the aggressive, fast-paced elements of hardcore music, creating a new and exciting form of extreme music that still resonates with fans today. Entombed didn't stop there. Their sophomore release, Clandestine, further solidified their standing in the death metal scene. This album continued the band's sonic experimentation, further refining their unique sound and pushing the boundaries of what death metal could be. So, how has Entombed shaped the death metal scene? By daring to be different, by pushing boundaries, and by creating a sound that was uniquely their own, they left an indelible mark on the world of extreme music. Their debut album, Left Hand Path, and its successor, Clandestine, established them as prominent figures in the death metal scene. In doing so, they changed the face of death metal forever. With the Gods of Grind tour, the band's sound underwent a significant shift. No longer were they solely a death metal band from the frozen north. Instead, Entombed began to experiment with a fusion of genres that would later be termed death and roll, a unique blend of death metal, groove metal, and hard rock. This daring evolution not only expanded the band's musical repertoire, but also broadened their appeal to a wider audience. The impact of this evolution was profound. It wasn't just a change in sound, it was a change in the entire landscape of metal music. Entombed's new direction inspired countless bands both in their native Sweden and beyond. Their influence spread like wildfire, sparking a new wave of creativity in a genre that was often criticized for its rigidity. But this evolution didn't come without its critics. Some fans yearned for the unadulterated death metal of Entombed's early days. However, the band remained undeterred, steadfast in their pursuit of musical growth. They were not afraid to push the boundaries, to challenge the conventions of the genre they had once helped define. Their boldness paid off. The albums that followed this shift were met with critical acclaim. Wolverine Blues and Hollow Man emerged as masterpieces of early 90s death metal. These albums were not just products of their time, they were also catalysts for change. They challenged the status quo, proving that death metal could be more than just relentless brutality. It could also groove, it could swing, and it could rock. Through their evolution, Entombed left an indelible mark on the metal world. They demonstrated that it was possible to honor the roots of death metal while simultaneously exploring new musical territories. Their influence resonates to this day, inspiring countless bands to follow in their footsteps and continue pushing the boundaries of metal music. Wolverine Blues and Hollow Man solidified their place in the genre's history. These albums stand as testament to the band's willingness to evolve and their enduring influence on the world of extreme metal. Despite the challenges they faced with various record companies, Entombed continued their musical journey. As their sound evolved, they found themselves at odds with record companies who were seeking to capitalize on the growing popularity of death metal. This led to multiple changes in their label, but the band remained undeterred. In the late 90s, Entombed made a bold move. They released Uprising in 1999, marking a return to the raw, unfiltered sound that they had made their name with. This was seen as a direct rebellion against the commercialization of death metal. The album was a statement, a return to their roots, and a clear message to their fans that Entombed had not lost their essence. Following Uprising, the band released Morning Star. This album revisited the style of their earlier works like Hollow Man and Wolverine Blues, but with a more refined and polished sound. The fans loved it, and it was hailed as a triumph for the band. But Entombed weren't done evolving. They continued their trademark death and roll sound with the release of Inferno in 2003. This album again saw the band fuse elements of hard rock and death metal, creating a unique sound that was unmistakably theirs. Even as the band faced challenges, they continued to push boundaries and evolve their sound. They weren't content to rest on their laurels or become stagnant. Instead, they continued to innovate and experiment, always looking for new ways to express their musical ideas. In 2006, fans were treated to new music from Entombed. The When in Sodom EP and the full-length album Serpent Saints, The 10 Amendments were released, showcasing the band's continued commitment to their unique sound and their refusal to conform to industry standards. Through all of their challenges and changes, Entombed remained true to their roots. They continued to create music on their own terms, refusing to be boxed in by labels or expectations. Their journey is a testament to their dedication to their craft and their unyielding spirit. In 2006, new music emerged from Entombed, including the When in Sodom EP and the full-length album Serpent Saints, The 10 Amendments. Entombed's journey was not without personal challenges and losses. One of the most significant was the departure of iconic vocalist L.G. Petrov. In 1991, Petrov was compelled to leave following a personal incident involving a fellow band member. Despite this setback, his contributions to Entombed and the world of extreme metal were far from over. Petrov's distinct voice, his relentless energy, and his passion for music left a lasting imprint on the band's sound and image. However, in a tragic turn of events, Petrov lost his battle with bile duct cancer at the age of 49. His death sent waves of grief through the global metal community. Yet, through the sorrow, Petrov's legacy lives on. His voice, forever etched into the tracks of Entombed's discography, continues to resonate with fans old and new. Entombed's journey through the realms of death metal, Entombed core, and death and roll remains a fascinating chapter in the history of metal. Their music continues to inspire generations of metalheads.